right, second grade. So now that we've just learned about our different kinds of landforms, now we are going to try to depict those on our project for today. So what we're going to do is we are going to use different lines to represent those different landforms. So if you look at your paper, there's little dash marks on the edges, right, of each side, and they go across from each other. So what you're going to do when we make these lines is you're always going to line up these dash marks. So for example, the first landform we're going to make is oceans. And to make our oceans, we're going to make a jumping line with the points going up. So let me show you. I'm going to start at this first line, and I'm going to make jumping lines with the points going up. And I'm just going to start that dash mark and end where that dash mark right across from it ends. Now we're going to make our planes. And to represent our planes, we are going to make a castle line. So I'm going to start at that next dash mark, and I'm going to start making a castle line that goes from one dash mark to the next dash mark. Now you can see I'm making pretty big castle lines. I'm not making super tiny little bitty, a whole bunch of castles. I made some pretty nice big details, right? So these are our oceans, these are our plains. Now we want to make our deserts. For our deserts, we're going to make a wavy line. Not too wavy, just slightly wavy to represent those deserts. Again, I started at that third dash mark and ended on the third dash mark on the other side. All right, now we need our valleys. For our valleys, we're going to make a curved line. Not too curved because we don't want to come down into our deserts, but just a little bit. Slightly curved line for our valleys. Our next landform we're going to represent is our rivers and lakes. So for our rivers and lakes, we're going to make another jumping line like we did down here, except this jumping line is going to have the points facing down. Again, I'm starting at that point and ending at the exact point on the other side. And the last landform we're going to represent is our mountains. So I'm going to make a zigzag line, and I make some tall and some short, just like real mountains. Make sure you're starting at that dash mark and ending at the dash mark across from it. And if you want, you can add a little sun or a moon, whatever you want it to be, in your sky. If you don't have a whole lot of room, it can kind of be coming off the top of the paper. Or if you want, it can kind of be coming out from behind a mountain. It's just kind of up to you. And then I'm going to add some ice caps to the top of my mountains. Just slightly wavy lines at the top of each mountain for those ice caps. All right, once we've finished our Sharpies, then we're going to use construction paper crayons to add some details in these different landforms to kind of further represent them with other lines. So for our oceans, we're going to use spiral lines. And we're going to use colors like blues and purples to represent our oceans. Perfect. So there's my spiral lines. Next, if you remember, are our planes. So for our planes, we're going to use orange and brown. Here we go. Orange and brown. And we're gonna make little, supposed to look like wheat. So we're making kind of some straight lines with some little lines coming off the edges of them. Now make sure to press pretty hard with your construction paper crayons because we are going to be painting over these. And if you remember, construction paper crayons act as a resist, which means the paint doesn't stick to them, but it works a lot better if you press down pretty hard with your construction paper crayons. So they show up that much better. All right, now it's our deserts. So for our deserts, we're going to make small circles that aren't colored in. We're just going to make tiny circles but not color them in with brown and yellow. I know the yellow is hard to see on the video. All right, next we have our valleys. And for our valleys, we're going to use light green and dark green. And we're just going to make up and down tiny little dash lines. And then we have our rivers and lakes up here. For our rivers and lakes, we're going to use white. We're going to use this kind of tealy blue. And we're going to use the regular blue. And for this one, we're going to be doing jumping lines just like we did for the line above it. And remember, the white you can't see now, but when we paint, it will show up. And last but not least, we have our mountains. For our mountains, we're going to use brown and gray, and we're going to make zigzag lines that come down from our mountains. And the last thing we're going to do today is I like to make the edge of my sun a little orange, just like that. All right, guys, so that's it for our first day of our landform projects.